Good morning.
Good evening.
Okay, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Wherever you are.
Good night.
We are Indonesia. How are you?
Good.
I'm fine, thank you. All right, it's session Breakout 3 ready to start.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Are you ready, Professor?
We are waiting for you.
Yes, I'm ready. Are the presenters ready? There are 8 presenters.
She's ready.
She's coming right now.
All right. Okay. So is this paper number 1?
Okay, so hello, I'm Aslinda, a PhD student of physiotherapy. Together with me is another author, Mr. Lim Ti Peng. So today my topic will be the reliability of the Malay version of the AQoL, patellofemoral pain and subscale AQoL PF. So Peng is you now.
As we all know, the QoSPF is an evaluation and must be extensively evaluated and standardized, and they can save searchers much time. Assessment tools for osteoarthritis and patellofemoral discomfort measure pain, rigidity, and quality of life. And the Malay version of the QoSPF is currently unavailable, and at the moment, it only translated into Spanish and Arabic. And the objective is to determine the reliability of the Malayan version of QoS patellofemoral pain and subscale QoSPF. The QoSPF is an 11 elements that used to assess its patellofemoral pain and osteoarthritis. Lina, continue.
Okay. So now this is my literature review. As you guys can see, so this is a translated one from the original English, and then we have Spanish and we have Arabic. So all this literature review, they have their strength, which is all a specific questionnaire for the patellofemoral pain syndrome. And we, the physiotherapists, use it as an assessment and objective protocol. But the limitations of this AQoL PF, they are only translated into 2 languages, which is Spanish and Arabic translation. Okay, as we can see this literature review, the outcome measures for PFPS needs improvement. Hoagland 2022 found that AQoL PF to have the highest content validity across all measures, and this author recommend utilizing the AQoL PF to assess pain and functional limitations in PFPS patients in research and therapy. So this is my method. During May-June 2023, a survey with a cross-sectional design was carried out among students from public university in Malaysia who can read Malay. So the phase 1 has 7 steps of translations process. I have 2 phases for my method. So this is the first one. So the first is the translations and cross-translation. The process of adaptation started with the forward translation. The English versions was translated into the target audience language, which is Malay. The selected translators come from the diverse backgrounds that allowing them to process and produce highest quality of translation. After the initial translations, I synthesis of these translations. The translated work on the original questionnaire. A written report was finished with a thorough descriptions of the synthesis process. Back translations was translated back into English with different translator. The translator didn't know about the original translations, which is the English translation. After that, I harmonized the questionnaire. This is to ensure that the version in the source language, target language, as well as all translations are conceptual equivalent. And then I sent for proofreading. This this was performed to check that all were no hypographically error. And then the final version was administered to the participant with the targeted environment. This pre-questionnaire was filled out by 10 participants for pilot study. The results of this phase were compiled and sent to the students along with the other documents for approval. Sorry, not students, to the ethical for approval. So for the phase 2, as I do a psychometric testing, so we assess for eligibility, which is 65 people. So I excluded people who have limb length discrepancy, musculoskeletal deformity, severe inflammatory arthritis, participants with a history of intra-articular use of corticosteroid, and participants who cannot understand Malay language. And then I enrolled 40 male and 15 female into my study, and I have 2 study grants for pre and post, which is the AQoL Malay version test 1. And then after 1 week of follow-up, I'll send the participants for the AQoL Malay version test 2. And then I analyze the data. So this is my results. So as we can see, between May and June, 55 participants responded to the survey. The average age of the participants was 24.09 years old. Most respondents were female compared to male. And okay, table 2 shows that Cropback alpha value is 0.917, indicating higher reliable tool formulations with PFPS. For table 3, as you can see, that this shows that AQoL Malay versions test-retest reliability and internal consistency. The coefficient value for each construct was greater than 0.07, which p-value is less than 0.001, which shows that the results are reliable and significant. Okay, so my studies, the average age of the participants was 24.09, as this study was conducted in a public university where a lot of young participants. Most respondents were female compared to male. In this ever-changing environment, more empowered women take leadership role and adapt to the best practice that will benefit the institution. AQoL only translated into 2 languages, which is Spanish and Arabic translations. Both studies shows highly reliable and correlate with the English version. This study provides increased structural validity compared to the AQoL for our populations of interest and adequate psychometric properties in our sample of young active patients, which was supported by the previous author. This study is a reliable questionnaire as the study uses AQoL psychometric patellofemoral qualities construct reliability with Cropback alpha, which consistent with 2 previous translated studies. These data are important for the interpretations of future study regarding the evaluations of treatment for patellofemoral pain syndrome. However, this study has some limitation, which is the participants' self-reporting, recall bias, and other data collections may not cover every conceivable aspect of knee health. And I'm doing my conclusions now. This study provides a deeper understanding of how knee problems impact individuals of quality of life, uses the AQoL to evaluate the efficacy of various knee injuries and OA treatment, is an indispensable tool for researchers, clinicals, and patients attempting to enhance knee health and quality of life. This questionnaire was found to be a practical and understandable self-reported measure for patellofemoral pain patients with acceptable psychometric properties and is therefore recommended for use in future clinical trials and clinical practice. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that prompt 10 minutes presentation, which is very good. Please, Lynn, can you transfer the host back to Bali, Indonesia? Co-author, Pimpeng, please transfer the hosting to the Bali headquarters. I understand you made yourself the host.
Oh.
All right, thank you for that presentation. Do we have any questions or comments about the presentation on the reliability of the Mali version of the AQoL PF? Okay, let me just ask, what's the full meaning of KOOS exactly?
Is a knee osteoarthritis patellofemoral pain syndrome questionnaire.
Oh, okay, interesting. All right, the original questionnaire, was there any amendment to it
Yes,
before
they do have. At first, it for the AQoL originally we call it as AQoL, but then some of the authors they do subdivisions, which is the AQoL PF. They have few division, which is the quality of life, sports, patellofemoral pain syndrome. So there are few. But now my questionnaire is more focused on patellofemoral pain syndrome, which is not the knee joint, but it's only the patella itself. Some patients right now, the younger generations have more pain on the patella, which is the front knee, rather than the old people who have knee pain. So these questions are designed specifically for them, the younger generations who has knee pain.
All right. Then you made an interesting remark about why there are more females than males that participated in the research. Please explain once again why there are more females than male.
Okay, I think I read a paper before. They say in Malaysia why we have more female participants, why we have more female students, because female students are more to studies, whereas the male students, they are more on the hand skill, such as repair car, automotive kind of things. So that's the difference. I am more, this university that I'm attend to, they are more on the medical field. So that's why I think this is one of the reasons why female are more than the male.
All right, thank you. So what's the next level for this research?
Okay, this is the pre-phase of my study. So after this, I'm going to use this questionnaire to incorporate into my first phase study, which is the patellofemoral pain syndrome and the interventions of the physiotherapy treatment for the patients with patellofemoral pain syndrome.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Does anyone have any comment again or questions for the presenters? If there's no other one, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
So we wish you all the best at the next level. So let's take the second presentation. Yeah.
Very much for your patience and waiting. I'm ready to start. So my name is Maria Lizunova. I'm representing Supakon University in Thailand, and today I would like to present you my topic about sustainable development in Luang Prabang, Lao PDR. So, as I said, today I'm going to present you the topic about sustainable development. Initially, sustainable development was focused mostly on the environment development and environment issues. Yet, for the moment being, for the present time, we are talking about sustainability as a balance between four pillars, especially human, social, economic, and environmental. What means it's the basic of the sustainability. So how is sustainable development connected to the tourism industry? In the past years, there is a tendency in increasing concerns over the implementation of sustainable tourism with an intention to restrain negative impacts of already existing environmental challenges. And there comes the implementation of 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Each of the goals has its object to be achieved and to which the tourism industry has the potential to play a significant role. My research questions was focused on the current trends that are right now happening worldwide, and then to proceed more precisely with the current issues and trends and challenges in Lao PDR, as well as to make a short analysis about the closest countries and how it works, how does it look in Luang Prabang. In terms of the literature that I used and methods and data collection, so my approach was thematical, so I focused on sustainability, sustainable development goals, and heritage tourism. And altogether, I added my personal experience from my before that, it's also these two books that I took a lot of information from and learned a lot about in terms of up-to-date information related to my topic. And now for the collecting information, it was my academic research in Luang Prabang this December. We participated there together with my colleagues from Supakon University, who visited Luang Prabang in person. And we've had a lot of surveys and observations in real time. So you can see my colleagues how we looked there. And then all together in cooperation with Suphanawong University from Luang Prabang, we had a field trip to Bang Pongjong community, where we were able to work together with local people, to talk to them, to have a lot of observations. And this is it's actually the best example and best option to take a lot of insights from. Now let me proceed with the findings. So the biggest obstacles today are population growth, social inequalities, climate change, and environmental pollution. On the slide, you can see the current emerging trends that can contribute a lot to overcoming the challenges. And so these trends represent a more compound set of actions that lead to a transition from free market and planned economy to a circular economy of production and consumption that is actually focused on sustainability. Now moving to Lao PDR. The implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development that demands a multi-sided participation to ensure that the commitment to the universal value, leave no one behind, is respected. So then I'm going to proceed with the review of what are the most important sustainable development goals that are still needs to be considered because they are lacking a lot of attention from the government and from the country itself. The first one, no poverty. The country has been successful in accomplishing of the goal up to the beginning of the pandemic, where the percentage of the poverty is lower in the areas which are most visited by the tourists. So here you can see by the scale, the color, what are the more, which areas have problems with poverty. Next one is zero hunger. People have different and unequal food distribution among the districts, including the need for improvement for agriculture and sustainable food production. Next one is good health and well-being. COVID-19 negatively influenced life expectancy at birth and signaled upcoming health risks and mortality rates. Quality education. The reason behind a very low percentage in graduation with each level of school lies in lack of standard facilities in schools and in highly skilled and professional teachers. Gender equality. The data shows that the women's labor force participation is as high as men's. It presents administrative and financial challenges together with unstable income, tax, and social insecurity. Women spend longer hours at work, although their average monthly income is lower than of men. Decent work and economic growth. The government paid close attention to agriculture, technology development, and accessible facilities in the cities. Additionally, the importance has been given to the tourism strengthening as one of the great sources of employment and economic benefits. On the diagram, you can see the organizations that working closely with the government in different areas. So it's not only a local level, not national level, but there is also help from the international level of participants. Climate action. The country is extremely vulnerable to floods that not only damage the environment but also interrupt any kind of development in the country and displace big numbers of people, as happened during the last floods in 2018 and 19. Partnership for the growth. A high priority has been given to regional and global cooperation and integration. A possible graduation out of least developed country status by 2026. And the last Sustainable Development Goal, number 18, which is specific for LAOPDL because it's about removal of the unexploded ordnance obstacles. So AQoL clearance represents a massive financial problem for the government, and following the track of the past contributions to the sector, it's actually minimum. So it is doubtful that the government will be in a position to fully fund continued clearance and assistance by 2030. Okay, so this is actually what the situation is. You see, it's all red. This is why it's so doubtful. And let me proceed with the conclusion. So before that, I would like to show you this diagram. It's not really clear, but I'm going to turn on it. So this is the situation of Luang Prabang. So as you should know, Luang Prabang is very different from other countries in LAOPDR because it became a World Heritage Site of UNESCO in 1995. And since that moment, the town's life has completely changed. Crowds of tourists poured into the country, the development came with them, and so did the pressure and harm on the environment and the landscape. Affected many industries, as I said, positively, development and transformation, then education, new international opportunities. Negative way, root of implying ecological, social, and cultural problems. So on the diagram here, you can see, I'm going to tell you from here. So that time, 94, before it was the UNESCO World Heritage Site, the amount of people was about 146,000. Then the same year when it was announced, it's already 300,000. Then we go to 2006, for example, and it's 1,200,000 people. And the last year over there, just before the COVID, 2019, it's 4,700,000 people come to Luang Prabang. In question of that, I'm coming back to sustainable development to finish my presentation. Since the moment when sustainable development has been given a definition, the behavior that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. The sustainable development as a concept has never been stopped to expand. At the present day, we have millions and millions of abbreviations and explanations of what does it mean as sustainable development. And all these definitions have many points of view as possible as equally negative. So there is still a certain level of uncertainty over the priorities and the level of scope for making tourism more sustainable, and the ways of putting them into action are only partly appreciated. So
okay,
I'm talking
Maria.
about sustainable development, and there is just one question that might be asked there. Is there a right path to follow? That's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for that presentation on sustainable development. Are there comments from the other participants or questions? Okay, Maria, I just want to ask, what is your background in, or shall I say, in what viewpoint are you taking sustainable development?
My point of view was focused mostly from the management point of view. So sustainable development is a process, and I was curious about what kind of steps has been done by the government and by the other representatives of the community to achieve the sustainable development, especially after signing up for the 2030 agenda, and then comparing to the local other countries. So this interest sparkled during my field trip in Luang Prabang.
I see that the transition of the city or the region to a heritage site is of interest to you in a way, because you kind of tabulated the transformation from when it was not a heritage site to now that it is a heritage site. I was going to ask, which of the sustainable development goals has been most affected by this tourism that's been generated by the heritage conversion, so to say,
I would say, from my personal perspective, if I'm not talking about any literature that I had, but what I've seen in person, that's climate change. Climate change in terms of everyone talk a lot about what needs to be done, but in reality, because of the amounts of crowds of tourists, there is not so much proceedings that are actually happening in the town. People are still using a lot of plastics, there is a lot of pollution, all kind of pollution. But regardless, the government still keeps on talking about that. And I think this is, climate change influences all other kind of sustainable development goals.
All right, so after this study on general study on sustainable development, where are you taking your next research to?
I think I would prefer to focus mostly on management, because this was more of a theoretic approach on what's actually is the situation, and after the situation you need to take some steps further. So to create a management plan, or more precisely for Luang Prabang, it can be heritage management plan.
Okay, I think I'd like to advise that maybe for your next level, you take particular maybe research questions or particular problems to address in relation to sustainable development, in that region. So if you take particular research questions or problems, then your review too will be sharply focused on that particular research problem or research question. And then you can take them in stages, especially in relation to heritage and tourism in the area. So, are there any other comments for Maria?
Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome. If there are no other comments, let's take the next presentation.
We have a question.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, I noticed you
use
4 pillars instead of 3
Sorry.
for the sustainable development. Okay, I noticed you use 4 pillars instead of 3. As far as I know, usually the common ground theory of sustainable development is 3P. profit, people, and planet. So you seemingly you distinguish human over social. Is there any purpose of that? Thank you.
Okay.
Any implication of any implication on your research, maybe?
Okay. Good question. Yes, we've been taught a lot about 3 Ps, but I think human needs to be separated from the social, because social you can include there all kind of relationship, and human is more about our biological needs as a human. Something about like we need food, we need protection, and it's actually a part of sustainability, because if we don't have our basic human needs included in sustainability, we cannot proceed with the social needs as a common, let's say, representative. As a country cannot be if you don't have food in your like stomach or something like that. So this is why I'm separating them in 4 different parts.
Okay, I understand where the question, Maria, I understand where the question is coming from. Because usually when we talk about the 3 pillars, the social, the economic, and the environmental, they are also about people, you understand, and about human beings, kind of. So maybe you need to look more into literature. And I know there are other dimensions that, depending on the field of study or the subject of study, that is usually highlighted, you know, as part of sustainable development. That's why you really need to ground your, you have to ground your study theoretically, you know, in literature, so we can see clearly where you're coming from. And then if you are amending it, you know, it also must be directed also by literature. I think that's very important. So your next study will have, we need to do more literature review, you know, before you actually go on to the practical aspect. I think you like the practical aspect much more than the theoretical. Yes, so
okay,
now you need to...
Fair point, thank you.
Yes, all right.
Okay, thank you very much, very important. Thank you for your attention.
So let's take the third paper quickly. SUE 004.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good evening to everyone. I'm Nurul Anis, together with my friend Dr. Siti Nadia, and also through online Dr. Noraini and Dr. Fatima Kuzi. So we are going to present on the research topic, fostering sustainable community, the vital role of local authorities in urban agriculture practice in strata housing. Okay, before we go further, the presentation outline to be covered for today, basically we have to be covered on the background of the study, literature review, as well as the research methodology, findings, and also the conclusions. So next, we need to know first what is urban agriculture. Okay, so urban agriculture could be defined as a process or activities that involve in producing, processing, as well as marketing and agricultural products within urban and peri-urban areas. So we need to know as well, urban agriculture also have utilizing the sustainable principle to enhance the sustainability practice. So as for now, urban agriculture become a main concern, especially in the city center or urban area, because of urbanizations and expansions development issues. So why this urbanization happens? Because of the higher number of populations, and due to that, okay, so it leads to the converting agricultural land to be more on built environment. And therefore, strata development also keep rising tremendously in the urban areas, and it also leads a pressure for the food supply and urban environments. So therefore, we came to with the idea to develop a framework for the roles of local authorities, particularly in urban agriculture, for the purpose of fostering sustainable communities. And from here, from the framework, we also split into two objectives. Research objective 1, so basically to identify the significant challenge and benefit of urban agriculture. And also the research objective 2, we need to determine the essential roles of local authorities of urban agriculture in strata housing. Okay, next we move to the literature review. Based on BITLI 2000, so there are three main significant challenges in urban agriculture. For example, in terms of increasing in food demand, and also a higher number of population growth, and we are facing also in terms of ecological degradations. Okay, and due to that, so we need to emphasize on the roles of local authority to take the responsibility in order to practice urban agriculture so that they can foster a sustainable communities as well. As we need to know as well, we have a lot of the local authorities, each of the district and also the states. So the local authorities or government assistant also, they could derive the different approach in terms of in assisting practice of urban agriculture. So the role of local authority is very important because they have a power to design and administer the urban land and the city center. Okay, in order to fostering an urban agriculture practice towards sustainable communities, so the challenges, benefits, and the vital role of local authority required to be outlined. So from the various literatures, so this is the list of challenges of urban agriculture practice, particularly in strata schemes housing. For example, in terms of challenges in terms of limitation of space and land availability, lacks of knowledge and experience among the publics and also the occupants of the strata housing schemes, and the challenges in terms of issue in hygienic conditions and safety issues, disputes related to the laws and regulations, and then lacks of access, fertilizer and manure, and pests and disease, especially on dengue, theft, and challenges of the climate change and lack of knowledge to make a marketability of the agriculture. Okay, and this is all the benefits. But the benefits of urban agriculture from the various literatures. So we have been clustered the benefits of urban agriculture into the healthy benefits. So it can offer the social benefits. So we can enhance the community cohesion. Okay, and the educational benefits. Okay, economic benefit as well as environmental benefits. And in terms of the vital role of local authorities, so the roles of local authority, they can enhance or they can support through the institutional support such as cooperations and linkings among the municipal council projects. They can integrate also urban agriculture into the urban planning, and also they can establish the legislation, guideline or bylaws, especially on the urban agriculture, and then provide the irrigation facilities, providing the suitable land to practice the urban agriculture, provide the gardening supplies, and then organizing the training among the public or the occupants for the strata schemes housing, offering grants, okay, market creations, grant makings, and creating a legislation. And from all these various literature, we also developed the conceptual framework based on the figure 1 to show that the role of local authority is very significant here, okay, to make it or establish the effective urban agriculture policies and also bylaws. So in order to establish the effective urban agriculture policies, so they indicated the elements of healthy, social, educational, economic and environmental aspect is very significant, so that we can make the policies that more effective and holistic, so that we can reach towards the to establish the strata housing communities. So for the research methodology, I will pass to Dr. Siti Nadia.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Anis. Okay, for this research paper, we conducted the qualitative research and we interviewed COB, Commissioner of Building, in one of the local authority in Malaysia. Okay, the most important in qualitative research, we have to develop the conceptual framework through the literature review, through the thinking of the researchers, and also through the theoretical framework that govern this conceptual framework. And then with that, we proposed the interview protocol. Okay, the first one, we focus on the sustainable practice that in urban areas that has been developed by the local authority. Number two, what is the enhancing food security, promoting or fostering in the local authority towards that? And number three, what is the understandings of the local authority in urban agriculture? And then we managed to quote all these items, around 30 quotes, okay? Using NVivo to manage the analysis of this research, we are fostering this urban agriculture team under 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams. Okay? And then we noticed that healthy social, education, economic, environmental is not enough to fostering urban agriculture in local authorities. There have been to be financial strength from the local authority, marketing, okay, from local authority towards the community to encourage them in the urban agriculture process, and also the facilities that the local authority propose, good facilities in develop the urban agriculture environment. And of course, we have to do networking with the private sectors. Of course, the developers who develop the strata building. Okay, and of course, government agencies have to put trust on them so that the local authority connection with the Ministry of KPKP in Malaysia will be enforced this. Okay. Okay, and then we move to the Dr. Fatima for the conclusion.
team approach to presentation. Are there any comments from the other participants, either online or physically present? Or questions? All right, let me ask the team. How prevalent is urban agriculture now in Malaysia?
As for now, we can say that urban agriculture that practiced in Malaysia is still at the infancy stage. And still a lot of efforts that required to do by the government and also the stakeholders, various stakeholders.
It is because, Prof, the awareness among the public is not really good, so that we have to improve our promoting the urban agriculture lifestyle, so that the people and community in the environment will satisfy and aware how important of this urban agriculture towards nation and environment.
Yes. Continue. Hello. Are you hearing me?
Yes, and also we need to put the effort to develop the culture first among the publics in terms of urban agriculture practice, and therefore we can start to establish the new policy and rules, and therefore we can make it more reliable of fostering a sustainable community.
All right. I also have another comment. If you're thinking about the local authorities putting together policies, I noticed that you don't have the aspect of like facility management or facility maintenance as part of what you found in literature of factors that could impact on urban agriculture use in strata housing. You know that much of urban agriculture may not just take place in open spaces or outdoor spaces. Sometimes it takes place again inside buildings or roof of buildings or some other part of buildings. So the aspect of facility maintenance and management, I think you need to consider in putting together policies, because that will affect even building laws and regulation, planning laws and the likes. What do you think?
Yeah, we also agree about that suggestion, because based on the interview conducted with Commissioner of Buildings through the local authority that we've been conduct, he also suggested to come up with the to produce the innovative ideas how to mitigate on the maintenance aspect issues related to urban agriculture practice, because a lot of issues come out through disease, dengue, hygienic condition as well. So I think because this is only infancy stage only of the urban agriculture practice in Malaysia, so and also one of the initial steps to study, so we try to focus on the role of local authority, and we can propose the next research.
All right, that's good. So what's the next stage? What's your next stage of research? What are you going to work on?
For the next research, I think we will focusing on the developing on the culture among the publics, okay, to practice on the urban agriculture practice.
Okay, maybe the problems, the hindrance from a socio-cultural perspective.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for that presentation.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments from the audience? Okay. If there are no others, let's take the fourth presentation quickly. Unlocking nanotech.
Good afternoon, everyone. Congratulations, because everybody are here, still here. Okay, so today I will presenting the research paper entitled Unlocking Nanotechnology Adoptions Intentions in the Malaysian Food Industry. So together with me, I have also Salini, okay, Yip, dan juga Albert Tan. Okay, so Albert Tan basically will present today. However, due to our delay sessions just now, he's not able to join because he's having class in Filipino. Alright, moving on. This nanotechnology, I believe everybody are familiar with, right? With the nanotechnology, betul? Okay. So basically, when we are talking about nanotechnology adoptions in Malaysia, it's a very new, okay, which can enhance the shelf life of the food without affecting the quality. So this is the most important things that we have to highlight here. And then the global nanotechnology market is anticipated to be valued at 1 to 6.8 billion in 2027. So this is very good figures, okay, that we have to notice here. And this illustrates that nanotechnology is an important driver for the economic growth. So that's why we are doing this kind of study. So, however, okay, what is the issue now? Okay, the first issue that we identify is that the nanotechnology adoption in Malaysia is very limited both in scholar as well as in the industry. Okay, number one. And then number two, low rate of nanotechnology adoptions and lack of knowledge about the nanotechnology. Because we as the laymen, okay, we do not know how to apply the nanotechnology, where the nanotechnology being applied. So that's why this is the next issue. And of course, related to the first one, lack of studies, okay, being investigated in this field, both lah, the nanotechnology as well as the food industry, okay, the applications. So that's why the objective of this study, okay, to investigate factors that motivate nanotechnology adoptions in food industry. We specifically focus on the food industry. Okay, moving on. So this is some of the literature. I'm not going to read one by one because we are running out of time. I just highlighted a few, okay. So in Malaysia, mostly is the ministry, okay, try to look into the technology adoptions. So they are also put the nanotechnology applications under the 8 Malaysian plan, number one. This one, and then this is all the apa nama, we call it the apa nama, nama lagi the IVs, the IVs that we are using here, okay. So all of this is being highlighted by the previous authors. Okay, so this is the most important lah. And all of these are extracted from the U-Tout theory. Okay, and then continuous improvement. This one also part of it. Prof. Baba, are you okay?
Yes, I'm here.
Alright. So in order for us to achieve this objective, this is our methodology. Okay, so we are employing the quantitative approach by using the questionnaire study, okay, questionnaire survey. Among the FMMs, okay, members, okay, and then all the survey that we have, we analyze using Smart PLS. Okay, from the survey, we have all of this. Okay, the finding itself. In terms of demography, the majority of the respondents is a manager, senior manager, and has been in the food industry for more than around 16 to 19 years. So they are very experts in this field already. And then when we are looking into the measurement model, okay, the loading is all surpass the 0.7, the CR also exceed the 0.7, and the AVE also exceed the 0.5. Mention that all the factor loading is adequately measure what they're supposed to measure. So that's why we proceed with this, the next analysis, which is the discriminant validity. So the result in this table, okay, mention that the results are satisfactory, meet the creations of the HTMT 0.85 as set by the K line and recommended by the GoL, okay, GoL 2001. Moving on, this is the structural model, or we call it as hypothesis testing. Okay, performance expectancy and top management are the two variables which is support this study, whereas the effort expectancy, price and trust is not supported. Okay, so must be a reason there. In the paper, we explain in detail why this tree is not supported because of the issue that we have explained earlier. Okay, so the discussions, the conclusions is, that we found here is that in Malaysia, because this is a case of Malaysia, the food producer should put more effort in adopting nanotechnology, because when they are adopting the nanotechnology, okay, they are going to be better in managing the food safety, because food safety nowadays become a very big issue. So one of the solutions is through the nanotechnology adoptions. The next one is that they also should examine the nanotechnology adoptions, okay, in order to foster the collaboration among all the stakeholders. This cannot be done alone, so all the stakeholders must sit together and collaborate, okay, in order to improve the entire food supply chain, and this is also in line with the SDGs, okay, SDG number 12, okay, this one, which is responsible consumption and production. Okay, in terms of theoretical framework, okay, this is the pioneer study which try to analyze the user intention using the nanotechnology in food industry, using U-Taut model, okay, and this finding also contribute to the advancements of research in the food industry as well as the nanotechnology. And in terms of managerial implication, this study finding might be appropriate, okay, to improve the food safety management policies. Whatever food policies that we have now, we may incorporate with the nanotechnology elements, and this might also allow them, okay, the stakeholders to attain and sustain a competitive advantage, because if the food producer not go into the technology adoptions, we are left behind. Okay. However, we have these few limitations. Number one, the hypothesis, we only have 5, so future study might add more. Number two, alright, future research also could examine the key proportions of the related theories instead of U-Taut 2. Okay, maybe the other theories might be tested here. And we would like to thank to UCSI, UITM for giving the the fund, and thank you.
All right, thank you for that very sharp presentation, sharp and prompt. So, are there comments from the other participants, online or physical? Okay, let me ask the presenter. What is the greatest hindrance to the adoption of nanotechnology in the food industry in Malaysia?
Okay, perhaps we may relate back into the issues that we identify here, because there is a limited knowledge on the importance of the nanotechnology itself and how it's benefit to the stakeholders, including the most important is the what we call it the customers. We are the customers, right? So that's the most important. We do not know, as a customer, we do not know what is the advantage of nanotechnology. So that's the first hindrance that leads to the lack of adoptions of nanotechnology.
Okay, so it is with the customer not demanding from the industry what they are supposed to do, that is the problem. Okay, I have another question, because I see that you're, well, how much of collaboration is taking place between the researchers and the industry in the Malaysian economy in terms of in the food industry?
Basically, this is ongoing research, Prof.
Not scientists has to do. Yes. No, I just want to know that elaboration between researchers and industrialists.
If I may answer you, this is the ongoing research, and we are still in collaborations with the industry players, okay, to investigate more on what is happening now and what we can do next.
This research is motivated by the fact that every country wants to develop tourism. One of the ways is by developing iconic architecture as a tourist attraction. The example in Spain, they have Guggenheim Museum. In Sydney has Sydney Opera House, and France has the Eiffel Tower. Similarly, Bali also has many iconic architectural attractions. However, the visitor number to the attraction is less and could be higher than other natural beauty like scooter, beach, waterfall, and etc. Based on Wiranata research 2019, the primary attraction for tourists in Bali are in the first rank is natural beauty like rivers, beach, waterfall, and ritual. In the second rank is cultural uniqueness. The third rank is the hospitality of the local population, and the fourth rank is affordable holiday cost. Architecture is one of the cultural uniqueness. Wiranata et al. Also outlined the type of cultural tourism that appeal to tourists. The first, traditional custom and tradition, followed by local cuisine, traditional art, spa, and architecture, within is fifth in the ranking. Even though Rahayu research states that Bali has many unique architecture and attractive iconic architecture that can only be found in Bali and attract the tourists. Based on this insight, the research aims to explore tourist preference for architectural attraction in Bali. It is important because determine whether tourists like architectural attraction and what make them like or dislike. We need to make effort to increase visit. This research used qualitative method, used questionnaire and interview with 100 tourists from Asia, America, Europe, Australia, and Indonesia. I used data triangulation to questionnaire and interview with several local guides. The research sample consists of 68 iconic architectural tourist attractions. Cartin and Watterson 2000 say that architectural richness, diversity, and the integration of natural beauty and cultural tradition are motivate tourists to visit, but no in Bali. Balinese architecture is categorized into three types and non-Bali architecture. The three types of Balinese architecture is the first one, heritage architecture, traditional Balinese architecture based on Hindu religious, non-traditional architecture, the traditional combined with modern function and modern element, and non-Balinese architecture that use the modern style or contemporary. Finding this result finding 11 types of iconic architectural attraction in Bali. The first type is temple. The second one is religious function, like us, the temple like us, Uluwatu Temple, Tanah Lot Temple, and many more. The religious like us, Parlasari Church, Vihara, and the third is heritage, iconic architecture like us, Tirta Gangga, Taman Ujung Palace. In the fourth, Balinese Museum or Monument like us, GWK, Garuda Wisnu Kencana, Museum Bali. In the fifth is Bali museum, modern museum, like as Geopark Museum in Kintamani, Bajra Sandi in Renon. The next type is traditional market, like as Badung Market, Ubud Market, and the next type is the mall, Beach Walk, Lipo Mall, Discovery Mall, and it uses modern style. The next type is beach club or day club, like as Fins, Safaya, Delmar, and many more. The next type is restaurant. This is the picture of the Wayah in Ubud. And the next one is Puri or Palace. Ya, Puri Ubud, Tabanan, Puri Anom, many Puri in Bali. And the last type is village, like as Penglipuran and Tenganan, traditional village houses. Okay. Tourists have different preference for iconic architectural attraction, and the top 5 preferred types are C, A, K, and D. The first one is type C. Type C use natural material. The function is social and cultural, and this is the heritage architecture. 100% millennial tourists like this type, and the most favorite is Theater Gangga. Why they like? Because unique Balinese architectural combined with natural beauty, also Instagrammable, strong historical. This is Theater Gangga Palace, Hotel Palace. Okay, the next one is type A. Type A is natural material, religious function, and traditional, use the traditional Balinese architectural style. 90% millennial tourists from Europe and America like this type. The most favorite is Uluwatu Temple. Why they like? Because it is an icon of Bali, which is historical and combined with natural beauty. Why tourists doesn't dislike? Because limited activities available. This one is type A. The next type is type D. Type D is mixed material, natural and modern, have socio-cultural function like park, monument, museum, and non-traditional Balinese style. 75% millennial tourists like this type, and the most like is from Indonesia and Asia. The most favorite is GWK, Garuda Wisnu Kencana. Why they like this type? Because unique Balinese architecture, cultural and artistic activities, tourism event, and also Instagrammable. Why they dislike? Because limited attraction and activities. This one is GWK, Garuda Wisnu Kencana, is a big statue in Bali. Type G. Type G is mixed material, use natural and modern. This function is social cultural function or mall, and use Balinese, non-Balinese style. This type tourist doesn't like. Yeah, the millennial tourists in Indonesia like because easy accessible and has an attractive architectural design, but they dislike because too modern and no local culture experience of our modern shopping center.
Miss Pramesti?
Yes, the conclusion is traditional Balinese architecture for authentic cultural experience. Combining can attract tourists, especially those seeking contemporary and visually captivating place. Understanding tourist preference to strike a balance between preserving cultural heritage and embracing modernity in architectural development. The recommendation is combining modern architecture with traditional Balinese element and promotion and marketing campaign on social media about the beauty and cultural value of architecture attraction. Organizing more attractive attraction activities and cultural events can enhance the appeal and visitor number, improving facilities and accessibilities. Thank you. Please.
All right. Thank you very much for showing us the exotic places in your country. You know, that was a very good presentation. Do we have comments from the participants? All right, okay, there's a comment.
Yes, sir.
I saw someone raise up the hand.
Who's the first?
Okay.
Excuse me, allow me to give some remarks, please.
All right, please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Congratulations, Ms. Dina, for the very nice presentation. I would like to give some remarks regarding your presentation. I do agree that tourism and architecture are very different, but it is tied up each other. We know that Balinese architecture now becomes a critical issue in the architectural design process in Bali, which is strongly influenced by the origin province in the design soft process. We know that now many Balinese architecture, namely traditional modern, modern minimalist, etc. The architect must pay attention on the consideration to this critical issue, which is Balinese traditional architecture, as a requirement for building architecture. This is to keep the tourist preference in Balinese architecture. It is a short remark that I would like to give for your great presentation. That is a very short from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Niels.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any other comments or remarks?
From me, excuse me.
Oh, someone wants to say something?
Yeah, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Please, you can ask.
Thank you. So thank you for Ms. Dina for the great presentation and very interesting topics. I have a couple questions in here. The first one, you mentioned before that the reason or the motivation why the tourists coming to Bali, there are several reasons like natural, because of the beaches, because of the mountains, or because of the cultural uniqueness, or because of the hospitality, or even because it's affordable. My question is, why do you choose specifically for the iconic architecture? Do you also have some previous research that say that, oh, this is also one of the reasons why the people coming to Bali? And how do you determine the type of the iconic architecture? I noticed that you said there is a type of A until G, but what kind of method that you use for this type of the economic? How do you differentiate? How do you determine this type of the architecture? And then the second question is, how do you obtain the data? I know that this is a qualitative research, so how do you prove the reliability? So the results that you found in here is not biased. I think, yeah, that's the two questions. Thank you, Ms. Dina.
Okay, thank you for the question. I will answer it. The first one, why I choose iconic architectural, because iconic architectural is a popular and famous and easy to recognizable. So I give the respondent questionnaire that have picture of the iconic architecture and with over 500 review, and they can choose they like or dislike or no dislike, and the reason why they like or dislike. Yeah, I use the triangulation data from respondent. I use the questionnaire, and then I triangulation with the interview with the local guide. Yeah, so I know the preference and what reason why you like and dislike. And the third question, the second question is second question.
How do you obtain the data?
How I divide the type from function and from the style of architecture. There are 4 style: heritage, Balinese, combined Balinese and modern or contemporary architecture. And I get the 11 types. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other comments? All right. I think.
May I raise another question for me? One more question.
Oh. All right. One question quickly.
Okay. Now we are talking about the theory. There is a theory called environmental cognition or environmental perception. So as you mentioned before, Spain has Guggenheim in the world. France has Eiffel Tower. Even Kuala Lumpur has a Petronas. So how do you recognize Bali then? Because there are so many iconic architectural buildings here in Bali. How people identify Bali easily? Because it is very important for people to know the place, to know the Bali, the authentic Bali. Thank you.
Yeah, the most favorite is tab C and tab E. Tab C is heritage, like a temple. Heritage like Palace, Theater Empul, and is Sukasada, Karangasem, and the next type is temple. So traditional architecture can be can be divided the tourist attraction in Bali. Can be different, make it different, and can be make it it can be different, and it can be landmark or icon of Bali.
How do you recognize Bali?
Okay, thank you, everybody. Miss Pramesti.
Thank you.
What's very, very clear from the comments and the questions is that is obvious that first you didn't use just the qualitative method, you used the mixed methods, because you were talking about questionnaires and you were also talking about interviews. So that's mixed method. Then what's apparent is that you actually need a little more statistics from maybe the tourism agency or the likes to know exactly the places that are most visited in Bali. And at least that will have you will have been able to answer clearly, the question about which are the buildings that give Bali its identity, you understand, or that tourists most visit. So you need that information along with that classification of 4 types that you have. So you are able to say clearly, which ones are the most visited, and then you can now go ahead about the preferences, that is the reason why they visit the different buildings that they visit. So it won't be too it won't be too what would I say, too subjective, so to say. So you have a more objective thing. Thank you very much for taking so much time on your paper.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Let's take the next presentation, please.
Okay, thank you, madam. So now I'm going to share the result part. Okay. So we managed to get 240 respondents for this study, and as usual, majority of the respondents is actually female, 72.9%. Okay, most participants actually aged between 18 to 20 years old, followed by 23 to 27, and the last age category is actually between 28 to 32. Okay, not surprised, actually, speeding found to be the highest traffic offences reported, okay, by 46.7, followed by against the red light, 40.4, and then using a mobile phone, 37.7. Okay, other than that, there are three lowest score, which was overtaking queues, using emergency lane, and then no respect to others. So next, madam. All right. Okay, so what are the difference between ASDS 46 and ASDS 23? Okay, in terms of domain. So our previous research and publication managed to identify only 6 attitude domain of Malaysian drivers, namely safe complaint, self-confidence, self-benefit, concern, style, and preparedness. So the recent study found out that there are 9 attitudinal domains that we managed to identify, and this bring bigger spectrum and bigger understanding about what is actually the attitudes of Malaysian driver. Okay, on the right table, we can see that the 9 new domains with the new names, and then the new numbering with the cut-off value. And everybody can see that there is a red circle over there. Okay, domain number 8, which is confidence. We can see that there is a reverse question, where usually in questionnaire, so it is strongly recommended to have a reverse question to avoid respondent from giving a false response. So this is a good indicator and a good strategy when we develop a questionnaire to make sure that we have a positive and negative questions. So we managed to reanalyze the ASDS 46, and we managed to reduce the questionnaire from 46 items to only 23 items. Okay, so we also received a good feedback from the respondent that 23 is much easier to administer and much faster to be filled out. Okay, so the Korba alpha value.
Mr. Masuri,
yes,
you have a minute more, please.
Pardon, bro?
You have 1 minute.
Okay, all right. Okay, so the alpha value is actually 0.75. Okay, next, madam. Okay, so this is a new domain with a few explanation about it. So in general, we can see that domain number 1 still about the tendency to be influenced or persuaded by others. Okay, domain number 2 shows that how much the severity if they manage with they engage with the high risk behavior. Domain 3 is measuring that what are the barriers for the drivers to change their behavior from negative to positive. Domain number 4 is look into the personal development. Domain number 5 is about the action, plan of action, and individual action towards the positive driving behavior. Next. Okay, domain 6 is about the benefit. What are the benefits the drivers can accept when they practice the good driving? Control is about the self-control, how much the drivers can control when they are on road. Confidence is about the self-confidence to manage and to control the vehicles. And the last one, the last domain is how much they will feel guilty if they commit in the wrongdoings. Okay, the last one. Okay, as a conclusion and recommendation, we believe that the new domains identified show broader spectrum of Malaysian drivers' attitude, and the new norm table can be used for further study in Indonesia and Japan, because we already translated in Bahasa Indonesia and in Japanese language. And we believe the next and the last action will be digitalizing the ASDS 23, where it can save money, save time, and we believe we can reduce the error. Okay, with all that, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.
All right, thank you very much, both Masari and Smiley, for that presentation. Please, are there questions or contributions to this attitude test for drivers as presented? Yes. All right, let me...
I have 2 questions. I have 2 questions, don't mind.
Yes.
Okay. Please go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for your presentation. And I want to find out how did you reduce the mean from 46 to 23? What method did you use? And how did you arrive at 23 out of the 43 domain? I have 3 questions along this line. So, do I answer everything or you want to respond to this?
Okay, thank you. Am I right? The question is how we reduce from 46 to 23. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. So the answer, actually, we conduct the statistical analysis. We look into the scree plot. Okay, we don't have it here, but actually in the full paper we have a scree plot. So any value less than 0.65 will be eliminated, will be deleted. So we only take the value above 0.65. So from there we only managed to identify 23 items. The rest of the items generally was deleted for this study. So that's how we get only 23.
Okay. Dr. Akonde, please ask the 2 other questions together.
Okay, yes. The next follows. How did you run the domain? Because we just see that you need the domain. Is there any weighting on the domain to know which domain is more critical than the other that we need to pay attention to? Because
okay, so how we identify the domain?
Yes, how did you rank
the domains? How do you rank? Did you rank the domains?
Okay, the process of ranking and identifying the domain. Okay, actually we use health belief model and protection motivation theory. So when we develop the questionnaire, actually we pick up the keyword according to the model. So when we conduct the survey, so we select the first 3 or the first 2 questions with the name, the keyword. So from the keyword, we translate it into the name of the domain. And the domain is actually in a sequence. The top one is the priority, followed until the number 9. Is that
sorry. Does the D1 D2D3 shows the criticality of those domains, or they are just listed as they are? Does it mean that D1 is more critical than D2 and then like that?
Okay. Okay, understood. Actually, we don't use the word critical, but actually this sequence is prioritized. So domain 1 is the first priority, followed by domain 2 until domain 9. In terms of critical, we are not quite sure the term, but the priority will be domain 1, followed by 2, 3, 4.
That's listed. All right. Thank you very much. Are you satisfied? Okay. Any other questions? Thank you. Any other questions or comments? I just have a question. Do you have age limit for the people you administer the questionnaire to? Because I saw that the age limit is it 18 to 32?
Okay, for this study, actually we are focusing on the educated young adults. So we are focusing less than 40 years old. Okay. But the original ASDS 46 we conducted for the entire age in Malaysia.
All right. So I think you need to. It is because it's showing that it's only 18 to 32 that you have. So if you use 40, you are supposed to have more people between 32 and 42. Or maybe there are also, you need to analyze according to age categories sometimes.
Yes, bro.
What do you think?
I think this study is actually in a general term, they are focusing on educated young adult category of respondent. But we are looking forward for more collaborators. If anybody who are interested to translate and to test the questionnaire in their country, that will be very, very much welcome. We can collaborate later.
Yeah, it's good.
Yes.
I also noticed that there are more females.
Yes, thank you very much.
Than males. Okay. All right. So you need to take care of that.
Yes, yes.
Are there any other comments or questions? Thank you very much for that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Smiley. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Okay, good night.
All right.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Smiley. Let's take the next presentation, which is on Mind Matters, exploring employees' mental health literacy in the hotel industry.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you, Prof. Alright, so Assalamualaikum, a very good, I think it's already evening, to respected panel, distinguished guests, and the remaining presenters. Okay, my name is Fatiha.
Thank you. Please, are there other presenters online? Or they're there?
Okay. So my name is Fatiha, and I will present on behalf of my co-authors a paper titled Mind Matters, Exploring Employees' Mental Health Literacy in the Hotel Industry. Okay. So did you know 1 in 5 hospitality employees suffer from mental illness, commonly depression and anxiety? In Malaysia, there is an increase of depression symptoms among hospitality employees. So mentally ill employees may influence their behavior, thus impacting customers' perception on the service quality. Consequently, it may jeopardize the Malaysian tourism image. Past studies also shown that there's a low mental health literacy among Malaysians. This is because of the social stigma surrounding the mental illness topic. People become more reluctant to discuss about their mental struggles because it's considered taboo, especially in Asian cultures. So this study aimed to explore employees' mental health literacy in the hotel industry. So mental health is very important. It helps individuals to recognize his or her abilities, work productively, manage their stress, and contribute to his or her community. Mental health can be increased by promoting mental health literacy. This is a concept popularized by Anthony John, who described mental health literacy as knowledge and belief about mental illness, which helps individuals to prevent mental illness, recognize the early signs of mental illness, and manage mental health. Working in the hospitality industry is definitely different from other industries because of its challenging nature of job. It's a long hours of work, irregular schedule, and have a heavy workload. So this challenging nature of job may pose serious threat to physical health and mental health of the employee. So this study utilized qualitative method through phenomenology approach. 10 interviews were conducted among hotel employees. These employees are permanent staff working in 4-star and 5-star hotels in Malaysia and have at least 3 years of working experience. So data was collected, translated, transcribed, and member checking was conducted to ensure accuracy. Thematic analysis was utilized to identify prominent team and sub-teams. So as for the findings, majority of informants are female, single, hold undergraduate certifications, earn 2,001 to 3,000 Malaysia ringgit per month, and work in various operational and functional departments. Half of them aged 20 to 30 years old. So based on this meta-analysis, 4 main teams emerged and 12 sub-teams emerged. The first main team is function of mental health. So majority of the informants associate mental health with individuals' psychological, social, and emotional well-being, while the others highlight the important role of mental health in helping individuals to reach life goals, have a healthier relationship, and overcome daily stress. The second main team is mental illness contributors. So this main team is subdivided to 5 sub-teams. First is personal issues. So some of the informants mentioned that individual struggles with their own emotion, such as loneliness, bottling up your own feeling, and trauma leads to mental illness. While several informants mentioned that financial constraint is one of the factors which leads to mental illness. This is supported by the Minister of Health in Malaysia, Dr. Zaliha Mustafa, who mentioned in the Parliament high cost of living in Kuala Lumpur have increased the number of mental illness cases in Malaysia. Several informants also mentioned that individuals who like to drive their mindset towards negativity have high tendency to get mental illness as well. Next sub-teams is family problems. So majority of the informants stated that family problems such as broken family, toxic family members, as well as lack of support and understanding from the family members drive them towards mental illness. So past research has shown that disturbance in family structure such as abuse and mistreatment can cause mental illness to one of the family members. Next is medical conditions. So some of the informants mentioned that long exposure to high level of stress for a very long time can eventually evolve into mental illness. While others stated that individuals who been diagnosed with a serious disease such as cancer may also get mental illness. Fourth subtheme is surrounding environment. So majority of the informants associated social media exposure to mental illness. One particular informant described the weird trends that we found in TikTok, where they persuade young adults to cut their themselves in a form of barcode. So according to them, when you see the blood flows on your hand, it provides some sort of relief. Where is it? And another, several more informants also mentioned that individuals tend to compare your life to others in social media. So that actually adds up more pressure to your mental health. And finally is work pressure. So all informants agree that work factors such as incompetent co-worker, difficult stakeholders like guests, and lack of support from the management have adverse effect to employees and mental health. So the next main theme is implication of mental illness. First is compulsive decision making. So majority of the informants stated that those with mental disorders usually make rash decisions, which sometimes leads to self-harm action. Next is physical distress. So several informants described the experience working with mentally ill employees, whereby the co-workers during a high pressure and stressful working conditions, they can suddenly become shaking, trembling, and had a panic attack. Next is emotional dysregulation. Majority of informants also describe those with mental disorders can easily get irritated or angry for a very small issues. This is what we call as a poorly regulated emotions, which according to past study is related to brain-related symptoms. Next is peculiar behavior. Majority of informants also mentioned that those with mental illness will conduct themselves in unusual way, such as running amok or conduct violence. Okay, final main theme is intervention techniques. So all the informants able to describe self-intervention techniques. Some of the most prominent intervention techniques are socializing with others by sharing problems, going for holidays, and taking time off from work. All of the informants also able to describe various types of professional helps. The most mentioned is HEAL Hotline. Okay, HEAL Hotline is an initiative by the Malaysian government where a group of volunteers help to take calls from those who are struggling, comfort them, and provide them with advice and consultation. And finally is the company assistant. So several informants stated that their companies do engage with the third-party counselors to provide counselings, while some of them mentioned that the HR managers are well trained to handle mental illness cases. So based on the finding, it is obvious that hotel employees have a sound mental health literacy. This is because all of their answers reflected to the majority of the mental health literacy component by Anthony Joe. As we all know, COVID-19 has a very destructive effect to the hotel industry. But on the bright side, COVID-19 also spurs a positive momentum for mental health awareness. There's an increase of open mental health discussion, not just in conventional platform, but also in social media platform. As you see, celebrities and TikTokers freely talk about their mental struggles in the TikTok. So the creative delivery of this information in the social media platform has increased the acceptance of mental health information among public. So good literacy among employees enable them to manage their mental health better, therefore they can become more productive at the workplace and social life. And hotel managers also play a very important role in fostering this literacy by conducting training such as stress management class or encourage more open discussion in the workplace. So this study expands literature of mental health, particularly in the hotel industry, whereby the employee's perspective is often overlooked. The finding also highlighted the importance of for the managers to create a healthier and supportive working environment. So of course it came with several limitations. First, it utilized only one method, which is qualitative. So future study can use quantitative method to quantify the mental health literacy level. and it focuses on employees in the urban area, so future studies can focus on rural area. So before I end my presentation, I would like to urge everyone here to please prioritize your mental health. Okay, so in Malaysia, 1 in 3 adults suffer from various mental illness, while in Indonesia, 14% of the population also experience mental illness. So it's a very serious issue. So what we can do is, we have to educate ourselves with mental health knowledge and show kindness to everyone around us. Okay, I hope you enjoy my presentation. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Maslan, for that mind-seeking presentation, and thank you for the advice that we should all seek to be mentally okay by being curious about our mental health. So do we have comments or contributions to this paper? Like how many informants did you interview?
Sorry, how many persons?
Yes.
10. After I reached the data saturation, I start the interview session.
Okay. So there are 10 informants. Of course, then you considered, why didn't you consider their whole social profile in terms of socioeconomic characteristics?
You mean
it looks like you only considered an aspect of their socioeconomic characteristics. What were the other things you took about them? You know, apart from the age, income, and maybe size of family, size in the family and all that. You can see that you consider their age and you consider their earning, and whether they were male or female, and whether they are single or married. How about the size of their, what other things could you have considered? Maybe, were there other socioeconomic characteristics you could have considered that may have had effect on their, on the perception of their mental state? Let's put it that way.
Okay, thank you for that question, Prof. Yeah, I agree with you that individuals' background in terms of social economics also play an important role in exploring their knowledge, but I did not consider that. I only consider those who fulfill the sample criteria when collecting data.
Okay, I'll give you an example. Maybe their social network, whether they belong to social groups, whether they have extended family, whether they live with their grandfather, grandmother, you know, things like that. You know, the social network will affect their mental state. What do you think?
Yes, it's true. Because when I ask them questions about what are some of the factors that may contribute to mental illness, some of them do mention their family conditions, you know, lack of family support, toxic family, broken family, one of the contributors to mental illness as well. I do agree with you.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any other comments? But okay, so where do you go from here? What's the next, what's your next research going to be?
Okay, I'm expecting a question from you, Prof. Actually, I'm extending my study to explore the support system available in the hotel industry. So I'm looking at 3 perspectives. First is employees' perspective. What do they really want from the management for the support system? Second is from the manager's perspective. What is the actual support system given by the management? And third is the perspective from the mental health expert. What would be their suggestion, you know, the types of support system that HR managers capable of providing to the employees?
That's very interesting. You're already ready with your next research.
Yes, I already started on that.
Any other comments or suggestions for this research?
Last question maybe.
Okay.
Yes, sure.
Sorry, not to keep you away from your dinner. I just want to ask you, do you feel that there is enough law and regulations in the country, whether in Malaysia or Indonesia, maybe just about Malaysia, in Malaysia, to ensure the safety of mental health for the employees? That's all.
Okay, that's a good question. So according to Tan Sri Lee Lam Thai, he's I think the president for the NIOSH in Malaysia. He actually has urged the government to revise some of the things in Occupational Safety and Health Act, because now we're only covering the physical health of the employees, but we're overlooked on the mental health of the employees. Even the founder of Befrienders, Dr. Tan Sri Lee Lam Thai, also urged more insurance company to provide insurance coverage for mental illness. Just last year, during when Khairi Jamaluddin was the Minister of Health, he actually initiated some of the amendment on Mental Health Act, such as decriminalize suicide, some amendment on the detention of this mentally ill person. So I can see that we are moving towards positive progress in helping those who are mentally struggling instead of punishing them or discriminating them.
Punish the employees.
Okay, thank you very much. On that policy note, let's take a last.
Alright, so today I'll be presenting research titled Employee Perception of Information Sharing on Supply Chain Performance. I am the main author, okay, Dr. Naraini Ahmad, and I have my co-author, Dr. Atira Muhammad Tan, Ms. Shazwani Yahya, and Dr. Najla Shafi'i. Alright, so three of us is actually from Malaysia, and we have Dr. Najla here today. Okay, we'll present on the conclusions and the recommendations, okay, from Germany. Alright, so let's start. Okay, for my presentations, right, we will cover on introductions, literature review, methodology, findings, discussion, and also conclusions and recommendations. Okay, so we start with the introduction. Basically, this particular research will examine the relationship between the information sharing and also supply chain performance, and we want to see whether this relationship is actually mediated by the logistic integrations or not. So basically, information sharing is part of the supply chain management. Alright, so but we just take one part of the supply chain management, which is the information sharing. We want to see the relationship with the supply chain performance, and we want to see whether mediate with the logistics integrations. The analysis actually conducted in the telecommunications organizations in Malaysia. Alright, why we have the logistic integration as our mediator? Okay, Christopher 2016 highlighted that the logistic integration is essential components basically to ensure for the smooth process or smooth of the product process. Okay, and also Laluani also discussed the importance of the logistics integrations in develop the reliable or the cycle. Alright, why telecommunication industry? If let's say we look into the supply chain management, right, most of the research basically conducted in the manufacturing industry. So basically, telecommunication industry is actually a service industry. Alright, service industry. Malaysian Reserve 2021 reported that the in 2020 markets, capitalizations of Malaysian communications and multimedia business basically increased over the years and contributed towards the 7.9% to Bursa Malaysia's market. Okay, despite of those particular COVIDs that happened, okay, either you notice or not, right, telecommunication industry increased a lot, alright. because of their activities. Okay, telecommunication industry is not only provide in terms of mobile. Nowadays, when we talk about the telecommunication industry, people will always think about the handphones, mobile, but telecommunication industry also provides solutions. What is the example of the solutions? Example, we have the smart ambulance. That also part of the telecommunication industry. Example, let's say in Malaysia, right, we have the service provider, telecommunication service providers such as Telkom, Digi, Altel, XOXO, Maxis, okay, all of them actually provide solutions. So that is also part of this particular telecommunication industry. And over the years, the subscribers for this particular telecommunication industries increase a lot. Alright? Basically, it's a part of the global thing. Alright? And also it increase the industrial growth. Alright, so this is my research questions. Alright, in this when we look into this particular slides, right, you can see the theoretical framework. Basically, we have two framework, H1 and H2. Alright, so H1, hypothesis 1, there is a relationship between the information sharing and also supply chain performance. Okay, the research objective for this particular H1 basically to determine the relationship between information sharing and supply chain performance. And H2 is actually logistic integration mediates the relationship between information sharing and also supply chain performance. So if let's say you see from here...
Dr. Ahmad,
yes?
You have gone halfway in your presentation. You've spent 5 minutes in your presentation.
You don't think?
Continue.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Okay, I'll try to make it simple, short, and sweet. Okay, so we'll look into the research objective for number 2, right? To determine the mediating effects of the logistics integration in the relationship between information sharing and supply chain performance. Okay, so this is my literature reviews. If let's say you see from here, we have in our full paper, right, we discuss a lot on the supply chain performance, information sharing, logistics integration, and the telecommunication industry. Okay, methodology used is actually this is a quantitative research. Okay, data collected from 361 respondents, which is the employees from Malaysian telecommunication firms or known as a Malaysian telecommunication service provider. Alright, and questionnaire we have like 28 items. So this is our findings. Okay, if let's say we see this particular finding, because we want to see the mediatings, right? So there's a 3 steps. We use the smart PLS. So okay. So basically, the step 1 is actually we want to see the effects of the information sharing and logistics integration is actually a significance with the numbers of 0.62, and then steps 2, 0.56 between the logistics integrations and supply chain performance, and the direct effects is actually information sharing with the supply chain performance with the better value of 0.79. Alright, so we have 2 hypotheses, right? First hypothesis is actually supported, and second hypothesis also supported. For the discussion part, information sharing has a positive and significant effect on establishing the supply chain performance. Information sharing plays a partial mediation role in the connection between the information exchange and relationship satisfactions by Water 2017, and information sharing is an optimal domain for leveraging data mining tools to enhance decision making and the supplier's performance. Alright. Okay, we want to talk, last part would like to talk about the implications. So implications, basically we have the implications in terms of the practitioner, all right, in terms to make a form, it's useful for the practitioners to make a decision making. And the second implications, basically, we can talk about it contribute to the supply chain performance theory, all right, and particularly we can say that it contribute in the telecommunication industry. Okay, next I will pass to Dr. Najla. Pass over to you, Dr. Najla.
All right, thank you, Dr. Ahmad and Dr. Shafiqi for that presentation. Are there any questions for them or comments? I see it's about information sharing in logistic integration towards supply chain performance. And Dr. Shafiqi has told us the next level, which is integrate decision making by leadership and using information technology. Is AI already in use in this industry?
All right. Okay.
Yeah, of course, using the technologies. Yeah, yes, please, Dr. Nuraini. You would like to take this question?
All right. Okay, I answer first, and then I will pass to Dr. Najla to continue. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Dr. Najla. All right. And when we talk about the AI thingy, right? Okay. Telecommunication industry is not about mobile industry. I mean that about mobile thingy. Example, phone. You have a phone call, everything. Telecommunication industry also talk about the solutions. All right. One of the solution I can say that example, smart ambulance. That one I think required for the also in the telecommunication industry. I'll give you one example. Last time, right, I think it happened this year when one of the service provider, okay, they already have the pilot everything on the smart ambulance. They want to implement it pilot for Hospital Putrajaya. Okay, they are now, I think they will have the implementation for that early next year. That also part of the AI thingy. So how basically this particular AI things works, right? For example, if let's say nowadays we have the ambulance, right? Normal ambulance, if let's say you have 6 people, I mean that you just take and put into that particular ambulance, and when they reach to the emergencies, right? They do not know what is actually happening. Alright, but with having this particular smart ambulance with the AI thingy, they have the GPS, location, parts, thingy, and also they, that example, if the practitioners or the doctors in that particular ambulance, they can have the, communication with those at the ambulance, at the emergency, at the hospital. Alright, so when they have that, basically they can communicate. That's also part of the AI thing that they want to implement, I think, in this particular industry. Thank you. Dr. Najla, you want to add something?
Yes. As we all know, we are focusing on customer-centric in supply chain management nowadays. So to having that customer-centric topic, it's very important to use the highest technology always. So nowadays we are focusing on mostly in green supply chain management. Of course, for having green supply chain management, reduce the cost, to reduce and make the efficient information, we need to use the technologies such as AI, Internet of Things, and many other technologies involved with that. And now we are going towards, in Germany, towards Industry 5.0. So having Industry 5.0 in the communication and information flow for supply chain management is a big topic nowadays. And yes, of course, the main point is using the technology in the process of information flow.
So that means your next research work might need some collaboration. With,
of course, it's a great opportunity. Yeah, it's a great opportunity because nowadays here in Germany it's very hot topic to having green supply chain and using the highest technology for information flow. So in any kind of supply chain to add value to every specific part of this chain.
All right, so thank you very much for that cross-country presentation.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Dr. Najla.
And
yes, thank you so much for this great opportunity and enjoy your barbecue event now. I saw in the plan, so enjoy your party. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the patience for Breakout 3. Sorry your dinner, barbecue, or whatever is delayed. We hope that you enjoy it. And send some online. So, thank you very much.